Hope's Pro 2 Evo hubs are pretty good and their click is legendary, but the pawl springs don't last long, in the conditions I ride at least. The good news is they are cheap to buy and easy to replace. Start off by removing the cassette using a chain whip and the appropriate lock ring tool. Next you'll need to remove the drive side end cap. This might just pull off with your fingers, but here I'm using my bench vise with an appropriate sized hole drilled into the sacrificial jaws. The freehub body can then be pulled off. Make sure the small spacer remains on the axle for the time being. Remove the pawls and then the springs, or in my case what's left of them. Check the condition of the pawls. Hope sells spares of pawls that include springs or just a set of springs. It's much cheaper just replacing the springs and the pawls should last a lot longer. Also remove the seal, making note of the step on the inside edge facing the hub for reassembly. Give everything a good clean with some degreaser, taking care not to spray degreaser directly onto the freehub bearings themselves. It's worth checking if the freehub bearings need replacing at this stage. They last pretty well and these are fine. Give the seal and the groove the seal runs in a good clean too. Remove the spacer and clean the ratchet teeth and inside of the hub. Check the hub bearings at this stage too, mine are okay. Clean the spacer and pop it back in. Squirt some grease onto the pivot points for the pawls. I'm using Park's HPG1 waterproof grease here because the weather is still rubbish and it's what I've got attached to my grease gun. It's probably a little thick but it works fine. I usually use Park's cheaper general purpose PPL1 grease. Hope actually recommend Mobil XHP 222 grease. This is hard to get hold of and I doubt it makes much difference. Insert the pawls, making sure they are the correct way around to engage the ratchet teeth. It is possible to insert them the wrong way. Grease the spring pivots and gently insert the new springs with the spring opening to the outside. Check that the pawls move freely and return to their correct position. Use a small amount of grease on the ratchet teeth and spread it around with your finger. You don't want too much, otherwise the pawls might not engage as they should and you won't get the reassuring Hope click. Fit the seal into the freehub groove with a step to the inside and the smoother side to the outside. Slide the freehub onto the axle and rotate it anti-clockwise to seat it fully. Hope sell the HTT 175 tool that I'm using here, just for seating this seal, but I've pushed it in without before, this just makes it easier. Check the seal is seated correctly and that the freehub turns and engages properly. I'm applying a little grease on the freehub body to make removing the cassette a little easier. And some grease underneath the end cap. Clean the cassette lock ring and replace the end cap and then the cassette. Apply some grease to the lock ring and tighten to 40 Nm in this case.